Welcome back to Wrestling with Horror, and today's going to look a little different than what you've seen so far in my videos. I've been doing lists of my favorite wrestlers, my favorite horror movies, but something I also said I was going to do from time to time was previews or reviews of movies. Today's going to be a little bit of a preview. Earlier this week, the trailer for Halloween Ends dropped. Now, me being the Halloween fan that I am, I was excited for this. I've been waiting for this. We were supposed to get Halloween Ends last year, actually, but the whole pandemic thing kind of put a little bit of a damper on that. However, we're here now, so I want to talk a little bit about how I feel about Halloween Ends, and honestly, just a little bit how I feel about the trilogy as a whole. So, I'll start with Halloween 2018. Now, I remember when I first saw Halloween 2018, I thought it was a great sequel. It fit really well with the original movie, which, as you know, is already my favorite horror movie of all time. So I thought the aesthetic that Halloween 2018 had was very good. It fit very well within the franchise. There was a lot of homages to all of the films in there, which I always enjoy, those little Easter eggs. Some people might not, but I do. It felt like there was a lot that you could definitely feel John Carpenter's influence on the filmmaking. David Gordon Green did a fantastic job directing. As time went on, the hype wore off a little bit, I guess. And it wasn't necessarily as good as I thought, because when I left the theater after seeing that, I was going, man, this is the best Halloween sequel we've ever had. That's kind of dwindled a little bit. I still really enjoy the film, but I don't think I would have it ranked as high as I did initially. The story of it, I enjoyed, Michael being transferred again, breaking out. I liked the fact that it was something a little different, erasing the canon of Laurie and Michael being siblings. That's something that we've all known for almost 40 years now. And for them to just erase that, it was a new take on that story, and it just showed a little bit different side of how this could affect Laurie in the long term. I like that Halloween 2018 kind of went back to the basics, had the stalking aspect of Michael a little more. And I just thought that it was a very well-made film. Going into Halloween Kills, what they told us was it was going to be brutal, it was going to be bloody, and we're probably going to get the most kills we've ever seen in a Halloween movie, and they delivered on that. Now, I understand that Halloween Kills was a very, very divisive movie, and for good reason. Personally, I really, really liked the film. I thought it was great. There were parts that I would change, things I would take out, things I would add back in. The hospital scene, I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've heard 100 people talk about that hospital scene. My take on it is that I definitely feel like it could have been shortened, cut a little bit. I just don't think it added much to the story at all. But I also understand why it's there. It's there to show the paranoia of the town and their descent into madness, really. They just become bloodthirsty. They're an angry mob. The town becomes a mob. Another thing, I'm not as nitpicky about this as a lot of people are, but they do say evil dies tonight 1,000,000 times. It doesn't bother me the way it bothers some people, but I certainly understand people having a problem with that particular line. Now, the ending of Halloween Kills, we see Michael seemingly defeated, only to rise up and slaughter everybody. which leads him back to his house where he has been trying to get for 2 movies, according to what they told us in Halloween Kills, that was his only goal. He was going home, he wanted to go upstairs, and he wanted to be by that window that he used to stare out when he was a child. So he gets there, and who does he see standing there but Karen? He kills Karen in a very psycho type of way. The cuts, some people probably thought they were weird. Me understanding the reference to Psycho, I get it. I don't have a problem with it. However, that ending, if we would have gotten the Halloween Ends that was originally planned, I think that ending would have worked a lot better. Especially if you take the extended cut ending of Laurie walking out of the hospital after hearing Michael breathing on the phone. So, but what we're getting in Halloween Ends is a 4-year time jump and a new, almost a whole new story. It feels, I don't want to say too much negative about it because obviously I don't know what they're going to put in the film, but it almost feels disjointed a little bit, like it's severed from the story that they were telling in the first 2 parts of this trilogy. And like, again, like, this might be the best Halloween movie we've ever seen. I don't know. We won't know until we see it in October. But the whole thing about Laurie moving on doesn't really make sense to me, because, I mean, in 1978, some of her friends got killed. Pretty much all of her friends got killed, actually. And she was traumatized for 40 years over that. Understandably so. I'm not saying she shouldn't have been. I get it. She went through something horrible and she was traumatized, and she devoted her life to being prepared to stop something like that from ever happening again, or to defend herself and her family if Michael ever returned. But then for her daughter, her own flesh and blood, to be murdered by the same person who killed all of her friends in 1978, to me, that seems like she would lean deeper into her, I don't want to say madness, but her devotion to stopping Michael. Instead, she decides that she's going to move on. She's going to write a memoir. And she's going to live her life and embrace the good things. And you know what? To those who can overcome their traumas and move on from those, yes, I say absolutely, that is a wonderful thing. It just doesn't necessarily make sense to me in the framework of this story. I feel like she should lean more into her anger and her hatred for Michael. Again, though, I don't know how they're going to play this story. And after seeing the trailer, we really don't know a whole lot more. We get little hints and bits and pieces there. They told us about a new character named Corey Cunningham, which is named after Archie Cunningham of Christine. But we don't really know what this story is going to be. There are things in the trailer that make you think that maybe there are 2 Michaels, one's a copycat maybe, we don't know. One thing that stuck out to me, this was actually pointed out by my brother when we watched the trailer. The description of the trailer says that Laurie has basically gotten rid of the specter of Michael Myers. So what we see in the trailer is somebody dressed up as Michael. POV shot walking into the house, which is very reminiscent of the Carruthers house in Halloween 4, The Return of Michael Myers, which again is a nice little Easter egg. I enjoy those. But what we see is Michael opening a door, like using his left hand to just nudge the door open. The problem with that is that Michael has all of his fingers, and the real Michael wouldn't, after Laurie blew them off with a shotgun in Halloween 2018. So, is that a copycat, or is it the specter of Michael Myers that Laurie is still seeing, even though she's trying to move on? Like, actively trying to embrace the good things in life. But is there that little bit of psychosis and paranoia still there that's just lingering in the back of her head? Is it a nightmare or something like that? Because also she was dressed very similarly to how she was dressed in the original 1978 film. So is that a dream sequence? We don't know. I hope it's not. I'm not a big fan of dream sequences, especially in horror movies. I think they're cheap and they take away from the overall story, in my opinion. So we don't know exactly what's going on with that. We know she's living with Allison, she's writing her memoir, she's trying to move on and live her best life. So when this Cunningham guy, when he is accused of murdering a child that he's babysitting, somehow that's going to plunge everybody back into paranoia and that feeling that Michael's there, and Laurie is either going to go back into her devotion to killing Michael, or she's going to slip back into the paranoia and the fear of it. I don't know how they're going to play it. And I don't mean to sound like I'm ragging on this or anything like that, because I am super excited for this film. I've been waiting for this film ever since they announced that they were doing 2 more after Halloween 18. Halloween is not only my favorite film of all time, but it's probably my favorite horror franchise as well. So anytime we're getting a Michael Myers movie, I'm going to be over the moon, ecstatic about it. I'm going to go see it in the theater probably 2 or 3 times. And I'm going to enjoy it to a certain extent, no matter what. Because I can get enjoyment out of every Halloween film. Even Resurrection, which most people seem to hate. Even Rob Zombie's Halloween and Halloween 2, which I really don't like. But I can still find enjoyment in them because I love the character of Michael and I love the story of him and Laurie Strode. So I'm very excited to see what they do with this film. After my enjoyment of Halloween Kills, I do have faith in what Jason Blum and David Gordon Green and Danny McBride and the rest of the production crew and everybody working on the film. I have faith in them that they can do something great. They've described it as being very different and very... Jamie Lee Curtis said that it was going to piss people off. And that's fine. You know, I say go for it. Make people mad, but do it in a way that is faithful to the character and the story and makes sense. Let's do something different and let's get a great movie made. And I think that they can do that. So, my final thoughts on Halloween Ends. Like I said, we got very little in the trailer, but I'm excited for it. I'm gonna be eagerly awaiting that opening night, because I will be seeing that film on opening night no matter what. Hopefully at some point in the future I can start going to press screenings and things like that. That's not in the cards right now. I understand, I'm nobody. However, I will be there, and I think we're gonna get something really good. I don't really want another trailer. I want to go into this movie blind, not knowing what's going to happen, not really knowing what the story's going to be. My excitement's already there. They don't have to build up my excitement. I understand that there are people, though, who need that excitement built up for them. People who aren't the biggest fans of the trilogy or the franchise as a whole. But we should all want this film to do well. Because horror films doing well, especially slasher films if you're a fan of those, it makes the studios want to throw more money at slasher films to get made. And that's good for us horror fans in general. So let's all hope that this movie is good, that it makes money, and that it leads to something more. I want to see Freddy come back. I want to see Jason come back. I want to see all that stuff. We're getting Scream. We're getting Chucky TV series. I love it all. I'm a huge slasher fan. So I want more and more and more. And like I said, every time we're getting a Michael Myers movie, I will be there. And I will be excited, and I'm gonna find enjoyment in it some way. So, really that's all I had to say about Halloween right now. I might make another video in the future if we get another trailer. I'm gonna attempt to not watch any more trailers. I know me though, I'll have a hard time not doing that, but I'm gonna do my best to not watch a trailer. And so we'll see what happens. If any big news comes out that we just can't avoid, I'll make a video on that. So that's all I've got for you right now. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell and set it to all. And share the channel with your friends, your family, anybody who likes professional wrestling or horror movies, because we're going to talk about it all. My name is Andrew Dreamer, and I will see you next time on Wrestling with Horror.